2.13. How should a goal statement be written?
Here are some suggestions on creating workable goal statements. Start with an action verb. Identify a single key result for each objective. Identify costs: dollars, time, materials, equipment. State verifiable criteria that will demonstrate that the goal has been achieved. Ensure that the goal is controllable by the individual. Determine the relative goal priorities. Determine how progress will be measured and how feedback will be provided and obtained. Tell me more. Good goal statements begin with verbs: reduce, expand, write, eliminate, increase, arrange, create, and thousands of others. Start by thinking about the action that you're going to take. Next, identify the outcome that will be achieved as a result of the action. Here are some examples. Reduce the number of customer complaints by 6%. Expand the number of choices available on the dial-up program from 6 to 11. Write an instructional manual on the associated brand armature. Eliminate one level of management in the Tyrone division. Increase customer satisfaction. Arrange 3 alternative distribution methods for the Ashford water purifier. Create an internet-based applicant tracking system. The sample objectives are good starts, but they're not ready for prime time yet. Next, consider whether there are any constraints or restrictions that must be met in meeting the goals. It may be that you want to eliminate one level of management in the Tyrone division without adversely affecting employee morale. You may need to write an instructional manual on the associated brand armature within 90 days prior to its public release. Red flag. Be cautious of tasks or activities masquerading as goals. For example, a directive to make 10 calls on prospective clients might seem like a reasonably well-stated goal, but it's actually an activity. What is the outcome of these calls? That's what the goal should focus on. Be careful not to use measures like number of training programs attended. Instead, focus on what the individual did differently as a result of attending the training programs. Concentrate on the results of the behaviors, not the behaviors themselves. How will you know that the objective has been achieved? Some of the sample goals have their measures already identified: reduce the number of customer complaints by 6% and expand the number of choices available on the dial-up program from 6 to 11. Others need to have measures added: increase customer satisfaction by increasing the number of repeat customers by 4% and decreasing customer returns by 12%. Note that the instructions do not require the objective setter to find numerical measures to assess how well the objective has been met. Instead, they direct the individual to seek verifiable criteria that will demonstrate that the goal has been achieved. For some goals, the numeric measures may be unavailable. Consider this goal: design a waiting room environment that creates a feeling in patients of professional excellence and personal concern. There may be no quantitative measures to evaluate the individual's performance, but that doesn't mean that measures themselves are non-existent. The measures in this case are factors such as reduced patient anxiety reported by physicians and the creation of a relaxed mood among patients in the waiting room, as judged by senior staffers. Numbers are easy to verify. That is why quantitative, countable, numeric measures are better than descriptive onus. They are easier to verify. However, when assessing the quality of an individual's performance, quantifiable measures are often scarce, and descriptive measures are sufficient. Red flag. Sometimes in the quest for numerical, quantifiable goals, people end up measuring things that aren't important or produce unintended consequences. A goal of answering all calls in 3 rings or fewer isn't nearly as important as presenting a genuinely gracious telephone experience. Note the goal statement that says, ensure that the goal is controllable by the individual. It is difficult to hold people accountable for results that are outside their control. While total control may be absent, individuals frequently have a great deal of influence over achievement of an objective. This is particularly true in dealing with high-level, sophisticated jobs. It is appropriate for the manager to say to the individual, "Jack, I know you may not have total control over this outcome. However, in a job like this you do have a lot of influence and it is important to have someone in this position who can deliver the goods." Not all goals and objectives are equally important. That's why it's wise to indicate the relative importance of various goals. Some organizations require a formal allocation of 100 points to all of the goals that are set, others use an ABC system. Regardless of whether your company requires formal weighting of goals, most don't. Be sure to discuss the relative importance of the different goals during the performance planning meeting.